It looks like the idea of the start of civilization being around 6,000 years ago is a restart of civilization.
Talk more about that, because
They think that there was natural disasters, probably comet impacts, around 11,800 years ago. And it reset civilization and probably knocked us back into the Stone Age.
Imagine a world before recorded history, a world where civilizations may have thrived, achieved astonishing advancements, and then vanished, erased from the timeline we thought we knew. It's a theory that stirs the imagination and challenges everything we've been taught about human history. And for Joe Rogan, this idea isn't just fascinating, it's a conversation worth exploring deeply. Joe Rogan has long been vocal about his belief that advanced civilizations could have existed thousands or even tens of thousands of years ago, long before what mainstream archaeology currently acknowledges. But why does he believe this? And what evidence makes him, and so many others, think we may have forgotten an entire chapter of human history? Let's start with a site that has become a cornerstone of this theory, Göbekli Tepe. Located in modern-day Turkey, Göbekli Tepe is a massive archaeological site dating back over 11,000 years, several thousand years older than Stonehenge or the Egyptian pyramids. What makes it so remarkable isn't just its age, but its complexity.
Is the size and scale of Göbekli Tepe unique in comparison to the ones that are around it?
Yes. So far, the ones that have been found, Göbekli Tepe is unique. And I think it's clear now that Göbekli Tepe itself was the end of a process, not the beginning of a process. It was something that it was a marker. It was something that brought together the best of everything that they'd accumulated and created it in one place.
Giant stone pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons, are arranged in intricate circles. They feature carvings of animals and symbols, suggesting a level of sophistication far beyond what we believed humans were capable of at the time. According to mainstream archaeology, people in that era were simple hunter-gatherers. They weren't supposed to have the skills or the organizational capacity to build something so monumental. Joe Rogan has discussed Göbekli Tepe many times on his podcast, often with guests like Graham Hancock, Randall Carlson, and others who challenge the mainstream narrative. For Rogan, Göbekli Tepe raises a critical question. If this site existed, what else might we have missed? Could it be possible that other advanced civilizations left behind even more impressive evidence, now lost to time or buried beneath the sands? Rogan frequently emphasizes how much of Earth's history remains unexplored, especially underwater. He points out that rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age, around 12,000 years ago, could have submerged coastal cities and civilizations, wiping out evidence of their existence. Think about it. Most of humanity has always lived near water. If ancient advanced societies did exist, much of their architecture, art, and culture could now lie beneath the oceans, waiting to be discovered. One of the most intriguing theories Rogan has explored is the idea of Atlantis. Yes, the legendary city described by Plato, said to have sunk beneath the waves in a single catastrophic event. While many dismiss Atlantis as pure mythology, Rogan isn't so quick to write it off. For him, Atlantis represents a broader possibility, that legends and myths often hold kernels of truth. Could Atlantis have been a real place, perhaps an advanced coastal civilization that was destroyed when sea levels rose? Rogan often says, why do we dismiss these stories as pure fantasy? Cultures all over the world have flood myths. There's something there. Maybe it's not literally a city with crystal technology and flying machines, but it could represent something real, a civilization that was wiped out. One of the key points Rogan frequently raises is how resistant mainstream academia can be to alternative theories. Archaeology and history, he argues, are deeply entrenched in a framework that often dismisses or outright ignores anything that doesn't fit neatly into the accepted timeline. There's so much we don't know, Rogan says, and yet we act like we've got it all figured out. The arrogance of thinking we understand everything about human history is just ridiculous. This is where the work of people like Graham Hancock comes into play. Hancock argues that there was a catastrophic event, possibly a comet impact, around 12,800 years ago, known as the Younger Dryas Impact Hypothesis, that wiped out much of humanity and reset civilization. Rogan has described this idea as both terrifying and mind-blowing. If Hancock is correct, it means that human history isn't a straight line of progress from primitive hunter-gatherers to modern society. Instead, it's a story of cycles, advancement, destruction, and rebuilding. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence for this theory is the widespread existence of ancient megalithic structures that defy explanation. Take the pyramids of Egypt, for example. Mainstream Egyptologists date them to around 4,500 years ago, built by the ancient Egyptians during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu. But Rogan and his guests often highlight the sheer precision of their construction, the alignment with celestial bodies, and the sheer scale of the work involved.
Thousands of years before that, they built the pyramids. Like, how'd they do that? Well, if something happened that like wiped everyone out back down to like just pure savage people that just scratched and clawed to stay alive, and then they rebuilt civilization.
Could the pyramids be older than we think, built by a lost civilization and later adopted by the Egyptians? And it's not just Egypt. Sites like Machu Picchu in Peru, the stone spheres of Costa Rica, and the Baalbek ruins in Lebanon all suggest that ancient peoples had access to knowledge and technology far beyond what we've attributed to them. Rogan has said, it's almost like we're looking at the remnants of a previous chapter of humanity, one that was wiped out before our time. But why does this matter? Why should we care about lost civilizations? For Rogan, the answer lies in what we can learn about ourselves. If we've been through cycles of rise and fall before, what's to say it won't happen again, he asks. If these civilizations were wiped out by natural disasters or their own hubris, maybe we can learn from their mistakes. Maybe understanding our past is the key to securing our future. There's also a sense of wonder in these discussions. The idea that human history is far richer and more mysterious than we've been led to believe sparks a childlike curiosity. Rogan often describes it as the thrill of the unknown. It's exciting to think we don't have all the answers, that there are still mysteries out there waiting to be solved. Of course, not everyone agrees with these ideas. Skeptics argue that the evidence for advanced ancient civilizations is often circumstantial or misinterpreted. They point out that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And so far, much of the alternative history narrative relies on speculation rather than hard proof. Rogan acknowledges this, but counters by saying, the absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. Just because we haven't found definitive proof yet doesn't mean it doesn't exist. He also critiques the way mainstream academia handles these discussions. Instead of embracing alternative theories as opportunities to ask new questions, they're often dismissed outright. Rogan argues that science should be about curiosity and open-mindedness, not dogma. We're talking about human history here. It's not just about digging up artifacts, it's about understanding who we are and where we come from. As the discussion unfolds, Rogan often returns to the sense of humility these theories inspire. We're just a tiny blip in the grand timeline of this planet. Thinking about lost civilizations reminds us how fragile and fleeting our existence really is. For those who dismiss the possibility of advanced ancient civilizations, Rogan offers a final thought. Even if we're wrong, isn't it worth exploring? Isn't it worth questioning what we think we know? Because the moment we stop questioning, the moment we think we have all the answers, that's when we stop growing. So as we look at the pyramids, the megaliths, the underwater ruins, and the mysterious carvings scattered across our planet, one question remains, what if? What if there's a chapter of human history that we've forgotten? And what if rediscovering it could change not only how we see our past, but also how we shape our future? As Joe Rogan would say, the truth is out there. You just have to be willing to look for it. Please like, subscribe, and thank you for watching.